And we are live with Answers with the Astral Baglady with your host, Dr. Reverend L. Newman. Or is that Reverend Dr. L. Newman?
Whatever.
And myself, Spirit Soaring.
Very good. Very good. You know, what is better than sharing a fifth on the fourth?
Not.
Sharing answers on Tuesday nights at 6. That's what. That's what. Because we're here to answer all of your blue burning questions. No such thing as a dumb question other than the ones you don't ask. We got something going on there.
Just
Never mind. It's an echo of some sort.
echo, echo, echo.
Echo, 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 echo. We did that in the Alps. Echo, echo. Yes, indeed.
I
Consider this.
actually did that on
What?
top of one of the 14 out here in Colorado and got jumped on almost immediately by a park ranger. You really shouldn't do that. You might cause an avalanche.
Yeah. And then it's all messy and people don't appreciate you. Consider this. This is the hardest time in which to live, but it's also the greatest honor to be alive in the here and now and to be allowed to see this time. There's no other cycle like this one. We should be thankful for creation. We did not we were not born with weak spirits to live during this time. The old ones say this is a time when the strongest spirits will live through, and those who are empty shells, those who've lost their connection, will not survive. We become masters of survival. We will survive. It is our prophecy to do so. Humanity must shift from living on the earth to living with her. Isn't that beautiful? And we have to. We have to understand the cycles and seasons of our lives and how they are interconnected with everything that is. And as you said before, since I kind of I have my pile of structured notes, but I love feedback. That's why we invite you to join us in the chat room. Questions, comments, rebuttal. I have my cards. I have my cards. And you had mentioned that I said, "What do you want to talk about?" In about 2 hours, and you said stress. You want to expand on that, Bucko?
Well, we're in the middle of one of those cycles of stress.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people around me that are just not
Melting down.
not oblivious to what's going on around them, but so stuck in the melt that's going on around them that they're having a problem seeing their way clear of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
my
is human. That's a
my
human thing.
cohort, my business partner, my associate, my good friend JC Moonspirit said, "Well, why don't we talk about stress tonight and help some of these people get over it,
Mm-hmm.
or as they put it, get over themselves."
Actually, stress can be a great inspiration because when you discover that there are some people that you just aren't up to talking to, or some situations that you just don't want to go to, that's everything within you saying it's time to back up the bus. Walk away from this. See if you really miss it. Ideally, we've all been doing that for this last, what, year and 5 months, however, year and a half ish. Thanks
Yeah,
to the bug.
ish.
Thanks to the bug. Like I said before, I had company over the weekend, briefly. Lovely gentleman, Magic Mike. He's such a sweetie pie. And we visited, and I gave him a big chunk of my banana cake and sent him home. And I said, well, that's nice because I cleaned the house, especially. It'll stay clean because I'm alone here. And I don't care if I don't have company again for a very long time. Don't take it personally. I'm good company for myself. And when I'm good company for myself, I don't run out there in the world looking for someone else to, in quotes, complete me, as if some bit were missing. In a stress cycle, your attention span, your magnetism, your goals, your personal energy are going to wobble. When Mars kicks in, Mars in Leo, he's happy to be in Leo. It's all about I, me, my, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to make it happen. Da, 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 da. And you'll probably work until you cannot wiggle at all. And then Venus kicks in and says, you know what? The couch misses you. The couch needs you. The couch understands you. So does the
Right.
cat. Grab those TV buttons. Maybe make some popcorn. Kick up your feet. Have what's called a life. That's not so bad. And in the end of this, which is cumulatively 8 weeks, because it did this dance in Cancer, now it's in Leo, yada yada. you will have done as much, if not more so than usually, but it'll be in fits and starts, be in bits. It'll be, I'll work till I can't, then I'll sit till I can get up again, then I'll work, then I'll sit, then I'll work, then I'll sit, then I'll nap. It's not such a bad way to live. And for some people, sadly, they have to get sick to appreciate their health. They have to get used up to realize the situations or the people, the events that are using them up, so they can avoid that from happening yet again.
Right.
So stress cycles can be success cycles, but you're going to be a success in like, kind of like fireworks. Oh my God. I don't know where these people are getting the money. I can't begin to tell you. But my cats have been sleeping under the bed since last week. It's just like war-torn Beirut. In fact, I was Sunday night. I was having dreams, and I think they were lucid. I don't know. That I was in the Spanish-American War. I was a dude, and I had a bayonet, and I was squishing people. Nice, huh? What a great way to fall asleep and wake up in the morning. Yeah, it's like, okay, all right. At least I didn't go to Kabul. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Sand in my underwear. But yeah, I don't know where these people are getting the money. You can't. It's a treed neighborhood. I'm surprised that something hasn't gone up already. And the amazing thing is they have taken down all the street side fireworks vendors. We used to have one right on the corner. It was like, welcome to Camp Lejeune. Keep your head down.
Well,
jeez.
They put all of these bans in place to keep people from doing the backyard fireworks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they open up all of these vendors so that people can go out and buy these backyard fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
Ariana Chin said hello.
Well, hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
And my sweetie said hello.
Hello, honey.
And
then these fireworks are lit by drunks. There's somebody you want to have on the front line.
Rory came home on Sunday. She went out to Dash and get us some groceries so we could have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And she came in, and she had to actually move people out of our driveway to get in. They had set up at the foot of our driveway, and were actually setting off fireworks behind my car
with a baby in the house.
With a baby, with a triggered as I'll get out.
Veteran yeah.
In the house.
See, I went off to neighbors and I left cards and notes saying, if you know someone who's a veteran, and I know quite a few because we have quite a few on the block, please refrain from doing fireworks 24/7. If you can have them done, when the sun goes down and be finished by 10, 11 o'clock at night, it would be appreciated. And then on the 4th, I took the veterans out for a late dinner so they didn't have to be here.
Oh, that was sweet of you.
Well, it was, no. There's some debts you can never repay. You can never repay a veteran. I don't care where they are in their lives now. I don't care what they do with their lives now, but they put it, oh, hi, Linda. They put it all on the line for me. They put it all on the line for every unknown American who takes their freedom for granted. Well, the least we can do is remunerate.
And then you have the self-centered people that are all in an uproar because somebody mentioned that the veteran on the corner might not really appreciate the fireworks in the front yard kind of scenario. And there's this uproar on Facebook about why you got to blame it on the veterans. Look, until you've been a veteran in a combat zone
exactly.
and had bullets flying overhead, you won't understand it.
That's right.
Until you've actually experienced the bombs bursting in air.
Yeah.
Take a step back, sir, please. I've been there. It hurts me. We tried to have a cookout. I was a triggered mess cooking hamburgers on a grill with people setting off fireworks in my front yard.
Yeah. I take the garden hose to them myself. Put them out of business.
It was everything I could do not to interact with the motorcycle policeman who was just on the other side of the fence directing traffic because they decided to set up a major fireworks display at the end of our street.
Oh, jeez.
I've been dealing with fireworks differently
Forever.
since I became more peaceful.
Mhm.
Before I was more peaceful, I used to just go to the gun range for like 4 weeks before the 4th and just shoot randomly at anything I
Whatever.
could get my hands on that made
Mhm.
loud, boomy noises. Desensitize myself.
Exactly.
I'm not.
It's a quick fix.
It's a quick fix. It doesn't de-trigger the situation, and
Mm-hmm.
it's, I laughingly joked with JC because JC has some of the same triggers over loud explosive noises.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I laughingly joked with them. I said, when we get everything set up on the property, we'll just go down on the bottom of the property and set up a gun range, and we'll desensitize ourselves to these assholes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean I'm going to put up dog targets with people with firecrackers in their hands.
And a beer. Gotta have a beer.
Yeah.
Beer and a firecracker. Jeez Louise. Well, and the sad thing is 40% of all the pets that go missing in the year go missing in the week of the 4th of July. Running away from the sound. My daughter's dog, Mr. Blue, lived so long he went deaf. He had the funniest bark in the world, but one day he ran away and they were calling him and he couldn't hear them. They finally found him in a thicket somewhere in the forest and brought him home. But, these are God's creatures. These are God's innocents. Why torture them, let alone fellow human beings?
Well, I'm
Between the
kind
two,
of
it makes no
glad
sense.
that some of the places that cracked down on it actually did crack down on it. I'm glad they shut down the event at Rushmore because the grandfathers don't deserve any more of that disgrace.
Mm-mm.
Um,
It's little. It's a beautiful display. It's little. And what you go there for, first of all, you walk around the decks and look at it and go, it's little. And then you go there for the mountain goats. They have the coolest mountain goats. These mountain goats are so sturdy, they don't move during a blast. They know the blast radius. People don't. The goats do. Not to mention some of the prettiest crystals. Yes, I know it's federal land. Some of the prettiest crystals you're going to find anywhere. And lots of fool's gold. I found South Dakota had lots and lots of fool's gold. I said, that explains our economy. It's all fool's gold in it. In it. So yes, I have my cards. If you have questions, we'll be glad to answer them. Talking about stress. It's a natural order of things. It happens. But it's
when it
contagious.
gets out of control that it becomes detrimental.
Well, it's contagious. If you've ever ridden a horse, I love horseback riding. That horse is only going to be as placid as you are. If you've ever shown a dog, Linda and I both shown dogs, your nervousness goes right down the leash to that poor dog. Kids can pick up on it. It's like walking into somebody's house right after they had a fight. And you're thinking, is it me? Is it Timex? No, it's the negative energy hanging in the air. Stress deletes your capacity for joy. And in essence, I guarantee you, it will eat your immune system. Yes.
I learned in an equine stress therapy class that the way that I ride most naturally is actually one of the best ways to deal with handleable stress. I ride native. So
I ride on a blanket, semi bareback.
I ride with braided latigo stirrups and a halter of sorts. So sometimes on a blanket, sometimes not, depends on where I'm riding. And I do ride in a saddle when I'm trail riding, but when I'm just leisurely riding and trying to clear my head, climbing on the back of a horse with a piece of braided rope that I can put my feet in to keep myself secure, and a halter is all I need. And the horse actually helps me take care of the stress because they'll dance until I let go.
Sure. And then there's a magic moment where you find a river and the horse goes, oh, yes, we're going in. And you go, Horses can swim? Heck yeah, I could. Well, that's good. You swim better than I do. Yep. It's a wonderful thing.
I actually had a horse for a period of time that loved the ocean until we got to the ocean.
Oh, okay. From a distance, like marriage, from a distance it looked good, but you get up close, it's like, oh.
Oh, I can't drink that, can I?
I should hope not.
Well, at home, we would go swimming. Literally, there was a part of the lake that we trail rode at that, and I rode with a Cordura saddle for a reason. She took everybody that was on her back when she was anywhere near her lake swimming. So she only took trail rides with a Cordura saddle.
That makes sense. You're making sense again. I told you not to do that. Next thing you know, you wake up with a government job, making sense. They won't understand you for being, because, you know, our government makes no sense. I done
went that route. They don't want me back.
It took me 2 years to quit. And every time I tried to quit, they gave me more money. And I tell them, no, this is about me going postal. I didn't like people to begin with. I like them less now. Save me.
I quit 11 days before the millennium turned.
Timing.
On the night of the turning, there were 9 additional suicides on the programming floor. Yeah, timing.
Oh, yeah.
I had already watched like 4 different people just completely pop off and go ballistic. And I was like, I already have PTSD.
I'm ahead of you.
See ya. The boss was like, you can't quit like that. I said, yes, I can.
Oh, heck yeah. You could cut the fear with a knife. The stupid things that people were afraid. Elevators are going to crash. Computers are going to crash. Planes are going to fall down. Your money won't be worth anything. I had one friend that said, I really kind of hope that as a financial institution, all the credit rating companies would crash because it's the only way I'll ever get a new car. But beyond that, nobody was really looking forward to it.
The only things that actually crashed that night, it wasn't that night, it was that night a year later. The only things that actually crashed that night were one of the early crays where somebody had intentionally left out coding to see if it would actually crash the system.
Cool.
And the original wooden computer.
All right, then.
So, yeah, it was all a bunch of needless
foolishness. And it's one person's...
That's a perfect example of people's imaginations running wild.
Yes, it's one person's stress turning to fear, poisoning everyone around them. And then that person, they poisoned 2 people, they poisoned 4 people, they poisoned 16 people. And on and on and on ad nauseum. And so by the time the new year actually arrived, it was a non-event. It was really a non-event. But yeah, lots of people. I have one friend,
because leading up to that event, there were hundreds and hundreds of needless suicides.
Oh yes, and I have a friend who actually tried to drink and drug himself to death before the millennium because he never planned to live that long. At the time, he was 30. So obviously his Saturn return didn't work. But yeah, it's stress is such, it's like a permeable membrane. You don't even realize it till you walk through it. You step in a pile of dog do, you know. You step in a pile of stress, you don't. Until it starts to erode at everything, your self-confidence, your drive, your relationships, your incentive to do just about anything. Stress reduction, simple. Music, yes. Drumming, of course, boys and girls.
Dancing.
Drama, dance, yeah. Sex in bed. Of course, you need a partner, ideally.
Meditation actually helps.
Meditation, Bach flower remedies, rescue remedy. Worst come to worst, smoke the drapes. Chocolate is always good. But the issue being, you have to own it so you don't run around dumping it on other people. Because this stress cycle began 3.5, almost 4 weeks ago. If you give it a 10-degree orb on either side, we're looking at 8 week stress cycle. Venus is cool and Mars is hot. When Mars kicks in, you get all active and antsy and motivated and running around like a crazy person. And then all of a sudden, whoa, I need to sit down. Like I was telling Lisa the other day, I have this amazing Tommy Copper body brace. And she said, how's it working? I said, well, I need a Tommy Copper brain suit because my brain's in worse shape than the rest of me. Maybe a bodysuit and a brain suit, something like that. I always like copper.
Go out and buy you a large piece of organite.
Okay.
Set it in a central location in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And then cover it and let it do its thing.
Okay. Easy enough.
It'll quiet the spin cycle.
Yeah.
Heck, order one from me.
You betcha. Also, because we have Mercury, who rules Gemini, transiting Gemini, being transited by the moon in Gemini, this is one of those cycles where you can think yourself awake, which is to say you never really quite get to sleep. You lay there thinking, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do that. And if he says this, I'll say that. If he says that, I should read this and do this. And then every 10, 20 minutes, you look at the clock and you say to yourself, if I fall asleep now, I'll still get 4 hours of sleep, 3.5 hours of sleep, 17 minutes of sleep. And the next thing you know, it's time to feed the cats. Yeah. Yeah. That's a Venus Mars in fire, making an aspect to Mercury Moon in air. Air and fire are a good combo. Although,
don't let it lead you to rabbit hunting. Come on, guys.
Oh, poor little rabbits. What did they ever do to you?
I know, right?
Unless it's Hassenpfeffer, in which case, but that's okay. I wouldn't make it because I couldn't skin a rabbit. I watched my mother do it once, and it was like, oh, kill me now. Kill me now. It's got meat like a squirrel. Come on. This is wrong.
I'm not against people that eat squirrel and people that eat rabbit.
Oh, sure.
But I had to head shoot enough of them as a kid that it traumatized me.
Yeah.
Because Papa would make you eat them if you shot them anywhere other than the head. And I wasn't about to eat them, so I got really good at hitting them in such a way that I didn't have to worry about eating them. And at 7 years old, I think that was kind of harsh.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to look at small game meals
the same way. Yeah.
The same way as some people do. I do eat venison. I do eat elk. I do eat moose. I eat bison.
Gamey. It's also gamey.
If you know how to treat it, if you know how to prepare it, it's not gamey.
I'm a white kid from the suburbs. You're not going to get me. I had a moose burger once. It was horrible. Cooked on sterno in Cleveland, Montana. Population 1.
As far as moose and elk, I prefer them in solid cuts of meat, not ground up.
I like turning them into drums myself. That's where they live the longest.
You soak them in milk, and then you cook them with a garlic sauce, and you don't ever taste the gamey.
Well, that's good. That's good.
But ground elk, ground moose tends to get really grainy.
Yeah.
And stringy.
A lot of gristle.
Yeah.
It was like bad sausage, you know? And like I said, the only reason anybody was there is because the bar was open, the Cleveland bar.
This is what Sweetie told me. Do I not dare ever do that to her again. I put elk in spaghetti sauce one night.
Oh, God. There's no such thing as Italian elk. I'm sure there's no such thing. I'm sure. I'm positive.
I was on we're fighting cholesterol kick.
Yeah.
So we weren't eating beef, and we weren't eating processed chicken, and we weren't eating turkey. But I'm still a meat eater, so we were eating buffalo, and we were eating elk, and we were eating moose. And She didn't know the difference until I put it in spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, that's a buzzkill.
Well, I was like paying really good money for really good quality meat, and
Mhm.
I wasn't thinking, and I knew better. If I'm going to put a meat in spaghetti sauce or chili or anything like that isn't beef, it better be buffalo.
Mhm.
So I learned a valuable lesson. But yeah, the elk is stringy. The moose is really stringy. It doesn't make good ground moose. So doesn't make a good burger. It doesn't make a good chili.
No, no. It makes a good moose.
It makes a good
It's
moose.
only meant to make a and little mooses, mises. Beyond that, darn, those things are
But
huge. I had one.
you think about it. If you're living with somebody who knows how to prepare the meat, you
Mhm.
got one moose can provide a family of 4 meat for
Ages.
most of a year.
Hmm.
Especially if it's a native family that uses everything there.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely. So stress is endemic everywhere all around us. It is our choice to be stressed or not. I know that sounds all kind of upbeat and stuck up and snobbish, but it's not. Because I myself have had some exciting twists and turns, especially the first part of this year, and never took it out on another human being. Never let
Well,
people know. I just said, I could choose to be stressed or I could choose to be in a place of understanding, acceptance, and openness. And I
it's,
mean, granted, people did let me down in that cycle because they didn't know what they were doing, but no sticky karma. I did not return negative for negative. Not something I do.
I think it's the blending of cultural trainings that we've had.
Probably. Yeah.
Um, with the Kabbalah training, I learned a modicum of patience.
Hmm.
With all of the martial training, all of the Korean martial arts that I studied, I learned to be less affected.
Hmm.
Um,
And to stay in the moment.
yeah, well, to be less affected means you get in a whole lot less fights.
Yep.
Even though I'm a qualified instructor in a couple of different types of martial arts now,
Hmm.
I haven't been in a fight in a long time.
I'm here to tell you that every little once in a while, I myself enjoy a bar fight. Okay. But one, I dress for the occasion, stomping boots, no high heels, none of this hoochie mama stuff. And two, I don't drink. So I have an advantage over those who imbibe.
Well, I have a friend.
Hmm.
He's a dear friend. He's spending the rest of his natural life plus 122 years in Leavenworth
Mm.
because he picked the absolute worst day of the absolute worst week of the absolute worst month of the absolute worst year of his life to go to a bar that we had frequented
Mm-mm.
numerous times just to go start bar fights in.
That's what they're for.
And somebody remembered him.
Uh-oh.
And by the time the MPs and the Shore Patrol showed up, there were 11 bodies laying on the floor, dead or dying.
Mm-mm-mm.
And it took 22 MPs to subdue him.
Mm. Crafty dude.
Marine Special Operator.
Yeah. See, there are those jobs that on one hand, they're vital. They're vital to our freedom. They're vital to our society. On the other hand, they're awful because they have to be prepared to do anything, whatever it takes. And that's not within the realm of human behavior. That's what we professionals call abnormal.
Well,
And
Jack
anytime you
was a
manifest,
professional kickboxer before he went in the Marine Corps.
mm,
Jack stands 5'3" tall,
that helps.
has a vertical jump of 79 inches,
Okay.
which means he can jump over my head standing flat-footed.
Mm-hmm.
He held the Marine Corps welterweight full contact karate championship belt for 12 years
Wow.
before he went into special operations.
That's amazing. That
And in
is amazing.
special operations, he met people like me that taught him things like way more lethal.
Well, my daddy always said, if you're going to do it, make it count. You know? If you're going to get in a mess, make it count. Because you're here to make a change, kid.
Yeah.
Considering that, consider as well doing what you can to help the Wounded Warriors Project. You know, we talk about numerology a lot on Answers, and by now you know 11 is a master number. So if your name or birth path or personal year number are an 11, you find you expect yourself to be somehow more than human. 11 knows of the untapped potential that lies in the human spirit. However, you are human first. At 11 a.m. on 11/11/1918, the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, a ceasefire came into effect that would end World War I. Subsequently, that date was regarded as the end of the war to end all wars. Would that it were. Now, all our veterans face challenges as they return to society, and today's wounded warriors are meeting extraordinary ones. These include visible physical injuries as well as invisible ones such as PTSD. Our job as Americans is to raise awareness for our veterans and address the real hurdles that face our heroes as they rebuild their lives. The Wounded Warrior Project provides direct services and unique programs to meet the needs of injured service members. So please, when you can, go to the Wounded Warrior Project on Facebook or on the web and see how you can make a contribution. You can buy products. You can send a thank you note. What does that take to a wounded veteran? You become a sponsor or create a fundraiser for the cause. Every effort counts. The greatest casualty of all is to be forgotten. Let's make certain that never happens. Project provides on our watch. And that was me talking over me. So forgive me for that. For that lapse. It's quite all right.
Every once in a while, the volume button gets away from me.
Well, and you're doing the air traffic controller thing, so you're looking at 117 screens at one time and not melting down. How lovely. A lesser man couldn't handle.
Ariana said Joe Rogan loves elk, though, and high heels are fun.
High heels are fun, provided you realize that for the most part, they're not meant to be walked in. They're for other fun occasions. Know what I mean?
I have a whole
closet full of high heels
rant about articles of clothing that men have created, torturous articles of clothing that men have created for women.
Start with corsets. Corsets that move your guts around.
Girdles.
Thongs.
Suspender hose. High heels.
Garter belts.
I said suspender hose.
Yeah.
As same but different.
Mm.
I think the old suspender belts were designed as a torture implement.
No doubt.
But it was to keep women corralled into this mindset that I have to be this size, this shape, or nobody's ever going to look at me.
True.
So the heels actually cause you to throw your backside out.
And your knees.
And your knees.
And your cankles.
The brassiere was shaped in such a fashion as to misform the lady's bosom. The corset was designed to force her into a petite hourglass figure, which is ridiculous.
And makes breathing impossible.
Yeah.
Aside from actively moving your guts around, which is really no. They were there for a reason, you know? I don't want something behind my larynx that used to belong under my belly button.
Look,
it's just
women in the 17, 18, 1900s actually carried mostly full-term babies while wearing a corset.
Oh my God.
How?
Stubborn. They exist
Why
as
did
stubborn.
women not rebel before 2020?
Stubborn. Stubborn.
I'm asking.
And pregnant women had to wear the ugliest darn clothes. They were these big poofy things with big poofy short sleeves, and you looked like a Rose Bowl float on a bad day, or like some decoration in the basement that took on a lot of flood water, which is also likely during pregnancy. But now people are proud of their bumps, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they say we're pregnant. I think, well, if we're pregnant, we should go into labor together. I've yet to see that happen, but it's nice to share the event more, not be so
Adam, I'm
concentric.
pretty daggum empathic.
So stress can come to you in all shapes and forms. It can be happy stress because you're so excited about something. I once introduced a friend to another friend. That was a disaster, let me tell you. But as I'm sitting in the restaurant with him, waiting for her to show up, he knocked over his water glass and dropped most of it in his lap, which looked real attractive. And then she came in and popped a contact in the salad bowl. And I thought, if this is the fun part, I'm going home now. Of course, it didn't work because it wasn't meant to. Mm-hmm. But stress can be because your expectations are too high for whatever reward you're going to get from the situation.
That's a key word there, expectations.
They're wicked, aren't they? We have no right to bring them to anyone, much less ourselves. And the minute you do, you're cursed. Sorry, that's it. You're done. Finito.
I am going to make a confession here.
Okay. Yes, my son.
I caused
How long has it been? How long has it been since your last confession?
I caused undue stress to my dearest, oldest daughter.
Because?
By expecting her to provide me with a grandchild.
Well, considering I am the head of the committee for We Need More Beans,
look,
I can't possibly.
When she came back into my life, she had already named both of the grandchildren she intended to provide me. And I've just been sitting patiently waiting for them to show up. Come on. Every time she calls, I'm like, so when are you pregnant? Well, finally, she blew up at me, and I had to apologize. It's unfair to place any kind of expectations on your children.
Well, and stress.
Or your parents or your friends.
Have you noticed how many couples, the woman couldn't get pregnant, they do in vitro, she has a baby, she gets pregnant. Because they were so stressed about when she's ovulating, when she's not, when to do this, when it becomes like a chore instead of, hey, this should be fun and pleasurable, don't you think? To a total stress mess. So very often you'll see that where people will adopt a child or have an in vitro child and then have a natural childbirth after the fact. That's stress. So I've always said, and I to my dying day, I will maintain this, it should not take ages to get back a biopsy. It should not. Because I know of the patients and the friends and the clients that I've seen who have died of something else, died because they were waiting to get their test results back. There's no excuse for that.
I've got a friend right now that's rabbit hunting because a doctor told them they may have this. Look, just because a doctor tells you you may have this,
don't believe it.
Doesn't mean you have it. The quicker you buy into you may have this, the quicker you're going to end up with it.
You're going to manifest it. You're going to give it a name.
It's more than that. Okay. It's more insidious than that. When they tell you you may have this, that's actually the point where they've decided that you've been a big enough pain in the ass. They're going to give you this.
And you're not worth the effort. You're not worth the effort anymore.
So they're actually going to prescribe pharmaceuticals that bring your wishes to life.
Yep.
You now have
whatever.
I've seen it happen more than once.
Oh, look, 25 years.
Perfectly healthy people have a bad day, go to the doctor, and all of a sudden they're dying from end stage type 4
Something.
liver carcinoma, whatever. Don't buy into it, people. Look, if you really feel like you have cancer, your body's going to tell you you have cancer, and there's a way to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have to flush all the free radicals out of your system and quit putting in the processed garbage.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I drink Mountain Dew, processed garbage.
Yeah, you do.
You ought to see the food I eat, and you ought to appreciate the amount of teas that I drink to counteract the Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm.
Because my sweetie wants to keep me around for a long time, so she makes sure that I flush all of the toxins out of my system.
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, I tried to get out of Dodge, but I had this bunch of people who weren't about to let me go yet. So here I am. Here I am.
Look, you can't complain because you wrote the script.
Yes, indeed. I own it.
And
I've seen.
Not only did you write the script, you wrote people like Sings with Owls and myself into your script.
Yep, I did. You're my family.
Okay. You wrote your spirit family into your script, and your spirit family is not going to give up on you any more than you're going to give up on them.
Y'all's my kinfolk. I have seen people die just because they retired. And they didn't, they thought that all their power had to do with their title. I was a bagel baker. I'm not a bagel baker anymore. And so once the power with the job goes away, they start to feel irrelevant. My best friend's parents saved their money, worked all their lives, moved to Florida, moved into this seniors area. Don't ever, especially in Florida. And they got old. And they saw neighbors their age dying, and they got older. And then one day mom died, God bless her. Dad couldn't die, so he died in his mind. And his daughter would visit every week. She's such a beautiful person, my beloved Krista. She'd visit every week, and she'd walk in, open the fridge door, and there'd be all these casseroles with ladies' names on them. And she said, Dad, who was here? I don't know, some lady. So all you have to do is be a dude in Florida. That's quite enough to make you a catch, But when Sally died, he was so determined that he was supposed to die with her or before her that he could remember the funeral, but he didn't know where she was. And you say, Dad, where's Mom? She went to get ice cream. They tell me about the funeral. Oh, we went back to Michigan, and it was cold and it was gray. And it's like, you poor baby. So he was not even walk around dead. He was just
fractured.
Dead in his head. Yeah.
He fractured.
And
people do that. They just give up because whoever they were walking beside, whoever kept them moving forward, isn't there anymore.
That's right.
It's because we've forgotten how to move forward on our own.
And you think you need that balance, and you don't. If you don't have the balance, you can't balance a relationship.
I'm going to give you some tough love. I'm going to give everybody some tough love.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. I love my sweetie. If she wasn't the counterpart to my soul, the matching balance in my yin and yang, she would still be my life partner because she sees in me the same thing I see in her.
Beautiful.
If you can't look at the person you're walking beside, strip away all their titles, and see exactly the same thing in you that you see in them, you're not compatible.
True.
If you're not compatible, do yourself, your future generations, a favor and find who you are compatible with.
Exactly.
Okay? Because if you don't, you're not doing anything but creating more
misery.
Very false.
Yes.
More trauma, more damage. Find the love, the compatibility. Okay? Stop thinking inside the box. We weren't meant to be caged in boxes.
Heavens, no. You want your partner to complement you, not mold and shape you. Complement you. Cooperate with you, not
my sweetie compliments me in such a way that I feel like the more than human that I feel like I'm supposed to be.
Your real self. That's your real self.
And I hope that she feels the same way about me.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
She's watching.
Isn't this a world? I get to Facebook to my daughter, who's the other side of the wall, and say, "What do you want for dinner?" I mean, this is such a world, isn't it? Oh, I should mention, speaking of my perfect daughter, that tonight, normally on a Tuesday evening, about 8:15, you would get to read your weekly forecast at the astralbaglady.net. Not so the case today, because my darling daughter started a new job today. And I knew as she walked out the door that she was going to come in kind of, well, flat, just kind of, I'm so used up. What is this world about? And it was a heck of a commute, too. It's like gridlock. I don't do gridlock. It was gridlock there, gridlock home, whole 9 yards. So I made dinner. I made her really nice. She got some large succulent chicken breasts, and I broiled them. And I made a great big Greek salad and some French bread and banana cake. There's dinner. And all she has to do now is eat and peel off her clothes and throw herself in the bathtub. That's it. That's perfect.
Maria has asked a question.
Okay.
She says, what if you're fractured by the toxicity that you left behind? How do you put yourself back together? And I know 3 people that are watching that want to answer that question. So if you don't feel like answering it, I'm going to answer it.
Well, you answer it, I'll answer it, and so can the other person. How's that for a deal?
Look,
Go ahead.
there are Eastern traditional and Western traditional medicines that deal specifically with putting the fractured person back together.
Mm-hmm.
There are ancient Ayurvedic traditions that deal with putting the fractured soul back together. There are traditional Taoist practices for putting the soul back together once it has fragmented itself due to stress and trauma. What you have to do, Maria, is ask yourself which route you want to take. Okay. If you are more leaning towards Eastern culture, go find a Taoist monk and ask him for help and prayers. If you lean more towards the Western culture, find a medicine man. Say, I left part of me behind. I need your help. He has no choice at that point but to help. Because you've asked. You followed formula. If you're one of those people that's stuck in the pharmacology of today, I have little help to offer you other than to ask you to stop.
Exactly.
Your turn.
I would say, first of all, list yourselves. How many bits have you fragmented into, so we can turn you into a crystal or a disco ball, whichever one appeals to you more. Then take a red pencil or a highlighter and highlight all those behaviors or responses or reactions that don't feed your wellness. Because those are obviously karmic carryovers. We have Pluto and Capricorn right now. We're coughing up that kind of stuff every single day from someplace deep in our psyche. And the purpose of it is to get rid of it. Okay? To understand why we reacted a certain way when it wasn't really appropriate, and be kinder and gentler to ourselves. Then sit down, give yourself a different name. Most of us when we're teenagers go through that where we pick up another name. I have always been Al Newman. Well, I was Al something else at one time, but Al Newman. I was never a Linda. I was never a Lynn. I was never a Linny. And when I think of myself, I say, well, Al Newman, there you have it. That's me. Find that real self. What do you call yourself? Do the numbers on it. I have a numerology worksheet on the astrobaglady.net, which, by the way, you will get your astrological forecast tomorrow. I won't even ask her today. She's brain fried. We don't need this. Pull out all those beautiful attributes and see what you're doing to support them. See what you're doing to appreciate them. Forgive the dark stuff. You don't want to end up like that guy we know who sits by his window wanting to shoot the neighbors because they're having a good time. Okay? Don't want to go that route. You want to come back to a place of embracing your life, accepting that every choice you made up until now was necessary to create you as the person you are now, and you can make even better choices in the future. That's my prayer every night before I fall asleep is, oh God, if I screw up tomorrow, let it be new and different. Don't let it be the same old stuff, because that means I'm not learning diddly. So it's about acceptance. It's about peace. It's about spending a lot of time in your head, a lot of time in your mind palace, and a lot of time understanding that your motivations now were not your motivations then. If they were bad responses, you were motivated out of fear or insecurity or some kind of deep, dark, ugly need. You're not that person anymore. So forgive that person and love that person. Rename that person, rename yourself, and then you find your power. Good enough?
Right.
Alrighty.
Sweetie said, for like kind, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So JC kind of dug a little deeper. It all depends on what path you choose to follow. For me, it took a lot of learning to love and peeling the layers back. It was bananas basically, and the pieces came back. I made bread with my friends and learned how to listen when I wasn't okay.
Mm-hmm.
To the true voice of my soul. It's all part of the journey, and I let go of the idea of being broken.
Exactly. God doesn't make junk. In your own way, shape, and form, you are perfect. And once you experience and appreciate and embrace that perfection, life only gets better and better. Simple little things like it's been, I don't know about you guys, it has been oppressively hot here. Magic Mike came over the weekend to build a bench with me, and I said, he was drinking a beer, I was having a Red Bull, and I said, do you really want to do this today? And he goes, no. I said, it's 90 already. It was like 11 o'clock. It's 90 already. He goes, you busy next week? And I said, I should be, but I probably won't be unless the heat breaks. Fine. So hot Sunday, hot Monday, hot today. And then about 10 minutes ago, just the lightest sprinkling of rain, and the breeze is absolutely refreshing. Thank you, Lord.
Here.
Well, it's one of those. There's that it's a stress point. It's a stress point.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Why am I being stressed? It's like, as you know, in Michigan, we have winter 9 months out of the year, relatively speaking. We have a lot of gray. Luckily, the earth itself is green mostly, but we have a lot of gray. And I discovered maybe 2 years ago that because I sit under fluorescent lights all day long, that's also not good, because that's red. Red is stress. Red is Mars. Work with me. So I got this thing called a Verilux lamp on Amazon, of course, where everything in the world is on Amazon. That's worth having. Got this Verilux lamp, and then somehow I bought not one but two for my beloved William Maltese. And he's in Seattle, where it rains and is gray even more than we have it here. And, when I'm working on fine work, when I'm working on charts, when I'm color coding reports, I'll click it on. Click. Or reading bills. Have you noticed when you get a bill in the mail that sometimes they hide their phone number? And you got to go through the whole bill with a highlighter. And oh, there it is. Okay, fine. So you can call them. So it helps to read that fine print kind of stuff, because I don't wear glasses for that. But it was really about taking away the stress of yet another gray, ugly day. It's a gray, ugly day if I make it that, and I don't choose to make it that. Thank you so much. And we need the rain. Thank you, Lord. Just keep it coming. Keep it coming. No complaints.
Swampy said, hi, kids.
Hi, Swampus. Hope he's feeling better.
And JC checked in to say hi with that little missive she left with us.
We love JC.
Somebody ran out to the store. I'm not sure who ran out to the store. We had to make a grocery run to make a dinner.
Well, I was smart. I didn't want to turn the oven on today, but I thought, so I will broil these chicken breasts. That's what I will do.
Oh, they're making a beefy rice casserole.
Nice.
They're making some kind of chicken and some kind of vegetables. And
yum. I made stuffed cabbage over the weekend, which is, I do not eat, mind you, but I make great ones. And I did 2 full roaster pans, and Lisa doesn't have to cook for a week.
I made homemade from scratch bourbon crispy chicken last night, bourbon sticky chicken last night.
Yum.
And homemade from scratch Mongolian beef skewers.
Very good.
And apparently my Mongolian beef skewers were a hit.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Beef is kind of a hit or miss with us with Chinese food, but we do try to accommodate my taste for beef.
Hmm.
But JC, bless her heart, got pulled into work on her normal night to cook, so I've stepped in, and she usually cooks Chinese food on Monday nights, so I cook Chinese food.
All right.
And she got to come home and have tasty Chinese food, and Sweetie said that the tasty
Lovely.
Chinese food was really tasty.
Ah, that's excellent.
I don't know, my sense of smell has improved drastically in the last 3 days, but
There you go.
my sense of taste still isn't quite there.
Mm, that's
Something
unfortunate.
something about a week's worth of antibiotics that'll do that to you.
Yeah. My whole family, with the exception of me, will salt their food before they taste it. They just pick up that.
You know,
Yeah, okay.
I unfortunately for the family threw a temper tantrum one night about saucing or salting or peppering food before it's tasted. Because at that time I was the full time chef in the house and cooking all of the meals, and was feeling insulted at nearly every meal because every meal was getting ketchup to death or A1 to death or salted and peppered to death. They got the point.
Take yourself to a really fine restaurant where dinner's like $100 a plate. Order a steak and ask for ketchup. They will walk you to the door. Goodbye. You don't belong here. Goodbye.
You know the 32-ounce porterhouse that T-Bone sells?
Mhm.
I was known,
$10.99 a pound.
yeah, I was known for being the guy that everybody wanted to cook their 32-ounce porterhouse.
Hmm.
I had one person in 2,000 steaks tell me that my porterhouse needed anything other than what I put on it, just in
Hmm.
it.
All right.
And that person said, "All I need is a glass of wine, and this will be perfect." I was working in
Kudos.
The one T-Bones on the Eastern Seaboard that was non-alcoholic.
Wow.
I
That's
later
rare.
moved to one that was alcoholic. Tips tripled.
People don't appreciate, and it's another aspect of the bug. People don't appreciate the folks who do the gungy jobs, from the people who pick up your garbage, to the people who cut your lawn, to the people who make your meals, to the
I
people who
got
swap
news
your
for you.
toilet
That
bowl.
guy that picks up your garbage
Yeah.
makes more than the accountant that's doing your taxes.
Hmm. I do my own. I am too cheap. One, taxes for me are fantasy land because I always tithe more than I make. It's a thing I do. I've done that for over 25 years now. So I have to sit down and go, I have to look at last year's and go, what are they going to buy this year? You think? Okay. And then I'll pick a number out of the air. Because Mother Peace Drum, we don't charge for drumming. We used to pass a hat to pay the rent, but that was not income. That was paying the rent. It was a write-off, another write-off. And two, I'm so Virgo. How Virgo am I? I read the tax code every year to find the changes. Okay. So I know what to itemize, what not to itemize, what rolls over, what doesn't, that kind of thing. Like computers have to be depreciated over 18 months because a brand new computer is old in 18 months. Isn't that a sad thing? So I happen to really actually love doing taxes. Well, I haven't done mine for 3 years. I'm not quite sure. Any day now, I was sitting here today thinking, I really should look at my taxes. I think maybe it couldn't hurt. I'll get there. It'll happen when it happens. But the whole idea of stress is that it does exist, but it's your choice whether you want to partake of the pity party or not. I mean, some things are going to make you stressed. I was thinking the other day, the Olympics are starting shortly. What would it be like to train all your life, to be in an event and lose? And lose.
What would it be like to get accepted, get medaled, and then have it taken away from you because you were doing something that was legal in the town you live in?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, they need to reevaluate some things. They need to restructure some things there, don't you think, Doc?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You can take over the counter a certain proportion of your over the counter medications. You can take off your taxes. Most people don't know that. If you have a business and you have to dress up, you can take your dry cleaning off. You can take your association fees off. If I rent a place from other people, I can write the rent off because we're nonprofit. So you just simply pay attention to it. And you know what? It's time for a spot, boys and girls.
Yes, it
Putting
is.
on my announcer voice. Let me take a moment of your time to tell you about our sacred family, who are the heart song of the Native American Rights Fund. These brilliant people belong to all the nations, and they've joined together to affirm and defend the rights of Indigenous people everywhere. Since 1970, their priorities have been to preserve tribal existence, to protect tribal natural resources, to promote Native American human rights, and to hold governments accountable for the Native Americans. They're developing laws for Indigenous people and educating the public about the rights, the laws, and the issues of Native Americans, the first Americans. Back before watch time, before calendar time, human beings knew how to live in balance here on Mother Earth, especially on Turtle Island. The rivers ran clear and the air was pure. Then the Europeans arrived, and in their footfalls, the native population went from, get ready, 18 million human beings to 230,000. The earth paid a price as well. Over a century ago, the Lakota elders had a vision of a great black snake that would burrow into the earth and corrupt the waters. Now that snake is dug under the graves of the elders and it's already leaked. Leaks once a week. Our heroes as they rebuild their lives. If the that project provides direct service.
There you go again.
Where was that? Snake is now dug under the graves of the elders and is already leaked. If that doesn't infuriate you, check for a pulse. The first Americans should never be considered last. Hush now. It's time for the U.S. government to live up to the treaties they signed over a century and a half ago. Please go to narf.org and get educated as to what you can do to help these noble people. Miigwech. Miigwech.
Trying to respond to people and causing echoes. Echo, echo, echo.
Well, we're back to stress. Stress echoes, doesn't it? Bounce off the walls, comes back and get you. Bounce off other people, comes back and get you. It's like, did you know when you have an ultrasound, they're actually bouncing a sound wave through your soft tissue off your bones? Now, here's the thing that I don't want to put out there, but it's been with me forever now. What does it do to an unborn child when mommy and daddy just want to know if it's a boy or girl, like that's going to change their damn stupid lives, that they will bombard a child in utero with sound waves? Either this child is going to have some kind of learning disability, some kind of hearing disability, or is going to be somehow damaged in some way. That's a sacred space where babies should only hear mama's heartbeat, maybe mama's singing, having a good time, but definitely not be hooked into a machine and zapped with sound waves just to find out if we should have a pink or blue party.
Now, the passive ultrasound that they only use the baby's bodies to register the baby, like the baby's heartbeat, the baby's pulmonary growth and circular.
Sure. That's fine.
The passive ultrasound, that's okay, but you're actually forcing the baby to move just so you can see it with that active sonar.
Truly. Just so you have the right color napkins at your reveal party. And how many people do you know have set fire with their reveal parties?
Look,
please.
Look, I'll tell you how to know. And this is a never fail. Don't have to second guess it. If mommy's carrying the baby way up here, right under her boobies, okay, it's probably gonna be a little boy. Okay. If mama is carrying the baby way down here on her bladder stem, okay, it's probably gonna be a little girl. Okay. You got about a 50-50 chance either way.
Well, yeah. What is it, boy or girl? It's a baby. It's a human being.
I've been wrong exactly this many times.
What if the kid bounces up and down? I'm up here, I'm down there.
Look, we knew that Kaylin was the one that left. Because the bodies resolved themselves
Yeah.
below the rib cage.
Sure.
I knew that Cora Jean was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cora Jean was all over the place, but I knew she was a little girl because her most comfortable resting place was on mommy's bladder, and mommy could not hold her bladder for anything.
Living in the bathroom. Yeah,
Yep.
that's one of the joys. That and hot flashes. Oh,
I knew Caitlin was a little girl because Katie Bug couldn't hold her bladder for nothing. I knew that Kinley was a little girl because mommy couldn't hold her bladder for nothing. The grandmother's way of telling if you're going to have a little girl or a little boy works. And it's been a never fail for me.
There you go. There you go. So consider, I know, gentlemen, it's going to rack your brains a little bit. Consider you're pregnant. Okay. I can't think of a more hectic stress cycle than a pregnancy, especially in the summertime when you're already hot to begin with, and then it's schwitz fest. Imagine that you're pregnant and you're going to spend the next, let's make it 6 weeks, being good to yourself, taking power naps when you have to, because Mars will take you running and Venus will take you right back to the couch. Eating a little bit better. Maybe keep a food journal to see how the foods that you're eating are affecting you. There's a thought. Sleeping when you're tired, eating when you're hungry. If you're not working, the first time I drove to Montana, I was amazed because I'd never been on a vacation all by myself. And we're talking 28-hour drive just to get to South Dakota. And it was like, oh, so I get to eat when I'm hungry and I get to sleep when I'm tired. I've never done this. Well, maybe when I was a newborn, but I was too little to appreciate it back in the day. And then there was that family. So that kind of took the bloom off my rose. So find a way, ways is plural, to be gentler with yourself, to be kinder to yourself, to realize that stress is such a contagious, toxic energy that it rolls off you like waves on the ocean and will take everybody else out at the knees before you realize you're doing it. Stress can be channeled in good ways. I like to clean. It's a Virgo thing. I like to do yard work. It's a Virgo thing. My mother, my mother, who was Warrior Clan, liked to beat rugs. She would take a rug, put it on the wash line. You remember the wash line, don't you? I wish I had one. She'd put him on the wash line and take her broom. Yes, she was a witch, and beat the living tar out of that rug. And I think there's so many people she could be taking that out on right now. Take your time, Ma. It's okay. What you're doing is a good thing. It's a holy thing. It's better than beating me with the broom, because I never listened. Proudly, never once listened, because she was crazy. They're all crazy. Crazy. It's not one thing, it's your mother.
I don't know. I don't think the mom unit ever came after me with the broom, except for maybe when I went after the sister with the butcher knife.
Oh, no. Mine was broom, number 10 can of beans, her fists, and it wouldn't take anything. It was just, I got in her way. And she, like I said, Daddy said she should have gone to Pig Island and taught the Marines how to fight dirty, because she was good. I saw her take grown men to their knees with just a few words. And it was, oh, you're taking advantage of a woman? Yeah, I think that makes you more of a man. It doesn't. It makes you a bleep. Yeah. So, poor soul. Stress. She was stressed all her life. And she was, here's the Mars.
Was your mom a guinea?
Guinea? Like a guinea hen? A guinea pig?
Was she Italian?
No. I am. I'm actually Mediterranean, questionable ancestry. Mother was German. German as it gets. Okay? German. And she was raised to believe that only her brothers had value. She was just a useless woman. And so they would make messes that she had to clean up. It was a cold Teutonic family at best. Poor soul. But she had such Mars. She had an Aries moon. And she couldn't get angry enough to get done being angry. Have you ever seen that? Short of Cuckoo's Nest, you don't see that kind of behavior. She would get angrier and angrier, and I'd just wait for her veins to be standing on her forehead. I'd wait for her to drop. She never did. She lived angry. She died angry. That's the wrong end of Mars. Mars is supposed to give you motivation. Mars is supposed to say, okay, Newman, I know it's hot, but you have to go outside and water the crops.
Well,
And for that, you need pants.
I have
Pants.
a suppositional theory about your mom
Oh, go right ahead. Bernice.
and
Her name's Bernice.
and other near omniscient people of her generation.
Hmm.
I think the reason they were so perpetually pissed off is because why couldn't I have just waited another 3 decades?
Yeah.
Why couldn't I have just drugged my feet sitting at the creator's side
I'll read a book.
for another couple of decades? I could have been born into a time of enlightenment,
Yeah. And
not the
empowerment.
time of dunderheads.
Well, she had no differential between being aggressive and assertive and empowered. So she just came off as an angry old lady all the time. So, and she's the one that told me, I mean, leave it to your teachers, right? How you leave this world is how you wake up the next time. So you want to make sure when you leave, you're in a place of peace and acceptance and understanding and connectedness to the great creator spirit. She died angry. I found her dead 3 days. That wasn't fun because my daughter was in the hospital and nobody bothered checking on her. And you could tell she died angry. And since that day, every time I go to hospice and somebody makes their transition, I will go down to the nursery because it's invariably a hospital, not a hospice. I don't work hospices out called that much. I'll go downstairs and I'll look at the babies and I'll look for one that's red faced but isn't wet and isn't hungry. And I'll say, Mom, is that you? It's okay. You can come back now. It's not ugly. You could be a feminist. You don't have to tell people. She was one of those feminists that hated men. So if she hated men, she hated women, she hated herself, she hated her life. There's my role model. I should be a serial killer.
You know, your mom, my mom, they were born in a way different time.
Oh, yeah. Different world.
They were born in a time where a woman was seen and not heard, barefoot and pregnant. My mom fought out of it her way. She became a radical hippie for a bit.
Sweet.
Um,
You could have been Moonbeam.
Yeah, you're. Hey, look, I laughingly joke and tell people I made it to Woodbury, Connecticut. Mom ran out of gas. We had to go home. But yeah, your mom, because of the area that she grew up in, found a different way to fight out of the broom closet. She became belligerent.
Absolutely.
Mom became a love everybody kind of person for a minute.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I think it kind of tanked her because she went from loving everybody to she barely loves anybody.
Oh,
It burnt her spirit out. They fought so hard to gain the right to vote, to gain the right of voice, to gain privilege, and still were held back.
It's like the Native Americans fighting to get back the land that belonged to them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you, explain it to me, because I don't understand.
Well, that's the thing. The land never belonged to us. We belonged to it. And if we could return to a way of belonging to the land and the land not belonging to us, we would all fare better.
Absolutely.
Worldwide, globally. But as it is, the land belonging to people means there's borders. And borders means there's differences and divinations.
And exclusion.
Yeah, and exclusions. And
possibly prejudice.
All of those things lead to hostility, prejudice, morose behavior, anxiety, added stress.
Drama. Oh, God, the drama.
The he said, she said across the border is crazy. You and I both have friends on the other side of the border, and they're all like,
I taught there for 5 years. Yeah.
Are you guys okay? What's going on down there?
Nothing.
I'm holding my breath.
We got a bug.
Holding my breath, eh? But yeah.
We got a bug. It's on, I think, a 4th permutation. Something like that. We got a bug. And the bug had to come along so we could learn compassion for each other.
And then I did a thing.
You did
went
a thing.
out door dashing Sunday on Independence Day of all days.
It worked for you?
In an
Okay.
orange shirt with a red handprint on it.
Okay.
And my U.S. Marine Corps hat. And this blowhard in the restaurant came all the way across the restaurant to accost me over my long braided hair and my orange shirt, my red handprint. And he saw my hat, you know, the one that says U.S. Marine Corps, Sniper Battalion.
Bang.
When he saw that, he backpedaled, backed over 2 chairs, landed on his ass. I got a chuckle. I didn't have to trigger because the hat solved the problem.
Isn't that nice?
I hate that it's come to that. You know, this is a land of the free, right?
Because of the brave.
Because of the brave, right?
Yes.
If I choose to not wear a red, white, and blue shirt on the Independence Day, but instead wear an orange shirt proclaiming my solidarity with my Native American ancestry, with a red handprint on it to denote my solidarity with the missing and murdered Indigenous women of our culture, of our time, then heaven help you if you come at me and try to bat me down.
See, that's the righteous battle. That's the only battle that's worth engaging in. And yet,
because if the U.S. Marine Corps Sniper Battalion hat on the head doesn't stop you from opening your mouth, the fistful of keys will. I promise you.
Handy. That's handy. The righteous battle. I mean, if someone is stepping on your beliefs, if they're doing bad things to Mother Earth, to seniors, to children, to anybody, to the exclusion of themselves, of course. Yeah, I say hop in there and get involved. There was a guy here a week ago. I told you about him. He was yelling at me because the trees had grown out into the sidewalk on the long part of the yard. And I've been poisoning them. I'm out there with the Roundup giving them cancer because they're damn huckleberries and I want them gone. And they're dying. I've been trimming away. They're dying. I spray it again. They're dying. I spray it again. And he came over and he looked to me and he started with something. And then he said, well, you have to do something about those flowers out front. There are no flowers out front. He's talking about the tree. Yes, I'm working on the tree. If you look behind the fence, you'll find a pile of branches. I'm working on the tree. Well, you better get it done now. And I thought, who are you? And I said, my God, you're rude. You must live in your mother's basement eating macaroni and cheese and watching Pornhub all day long, don't you? And he said something else and then he came back again because, it wasn't enough to insult me the first time. I made to come back. He goes, you're fat and old. And I said, here's the thing. I can get skinny, but you're an asshole. And when you wake up tomorrow, you're still going to be an asshole. And he got back on his bike and pedaled away.
How old was this miscreant?
20-something. Yeah,
he still lives in mom's basement.
Often in error, never in doubt. You know that age, don't you? Cocky, rude. And he was disturbing me working. And it's like, if I'm working, don't bother me.
I will admit to being a condescending prick when I was 20.
I was awful. I was.
But I'm the same person now that I was then, minus a few social adjustments.
Yeah. Well, we do have to live and learn. We do.
I'm not quite as blunt.
Well, that's why you got me.
You can ask things about how blunt I was at times. For that matter, you can ask JC.
Truth is the truth.
You can ask Rory. You can ask Leslie. I've been called down for being blunt on numerous occasions because when I see an injustice, when I see an inequity, when I see a disparity,
you have to do something.
I am that outspoken person.
Because if you keep your quietude, then you are offering placid acknowledgement that this behavior is acceptable. It is not.
It is not.
It is not. And it's not going to be.
I was raised in a racist household. It is not.
I was too. And I was thinking today, there were words dancing in my head that are awful derogatory about other races and people. God, take these words away from me. I'm not even thinking them, and they're there because something on TV triggered it. And it was like the N word. That's never been acceptable in my home. God damn. God's last name is not damn. And people that walk around saying God damn
got to do with it.
Yeah. People who say God damn are asking to be damned, aren't they?
Yeah. And like I said, what's she got to do with it?
Absolutely nothing.
It's like people that walk around saying Jesus Christ. I'm like, yeah, he was a really nice guy. Leave him out of it.
Well, now courtesy of South Park, which is a cartoon you'll probably never watch.
Oh,
I learned a phrase entitled Jesus Tap Dancing Christ. That works for me. Spats, top hat, tails, looking good, tap dancing to putting on the Ritz. I like that.
Have you seen there's a guy in Penumbra that's mastered running across water?
Okay.
I'm like, is he the second coming? No, because he's already walking among us.
Well, now, I was doing that today because, as you know, in this weather, my feet don't want shoes. I could do some flip-flops, but shoes, no. Pantyhose, not. Socks, so I had to go out in water, pants. I had to put pants on and a shirt. Oh, what I don't have to do. I know. But the cement was so hot. How hot was it, El Newman? It was so hot that I was watering the cement under my feet as I watered the plants. It was like, ow, 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 ow. And the cat was like, don't come here, cat. It's too hot. And he was dancing on his little feet. I said, you know what this is? This is back before Colonel What's-His-Face, Colonel Tom Parker had Elvis. He had dancing chickens. Seriously, I do my homework. He had dancing chickens. And you know how he got his chickens to dance?
Hot foot.
He put them on a hot plate standing on aluminum foil.
Yep.
And then went do. I mean, my God. So that was me today. I was watering the sidewalk so I could stand there and water the plants. But that got done. Thank goodness. And now I wear no pants. It's too hot.
I think I'm going to do a permaculture yard.
Interesting.
We've got lots and lots of land to play with now. And I've always liked the natural arbors and the natural settings.
Sure.
And I learned how to weave trees a long time ago. So where'd you learn that?
I've done figured it out.
I spent some time in the Boy Scouts, and then I went abroad.
There you go. I have actually one of the paths to go to my Zen garden is all moss, and that feels so good on your feet. Oh, it's so lovely. Lovely.
So far, I've found 3 different types of lichen and moss growing.
Beautiful.
2 different types of cacti. So we have prickly pears to eat. And then we have San Pedro. Might be some interesting teas.
And critters. You must have amazing critters.
So far, we have seen puma sign. We have seen a big canid. I'm not sure what type of canid because I didn't see a dew claw impression. But there have been gray wolf sightings near there. So
lovely.
There is bear sign. There have been elk sign from the minute we started investigating the property. And then out walking the property, we saw antelope sign and deer scrapings.
Nice.
So lots of big game. We have jackrabbits instead of the little bitty things.
Mm-hmm.
Jackrabbits are surprisingly large.
Oh yeah, they're like small dogs, medium
We
dogs.
have two different types of grouse. Hooded pheasant.
Mm.
Um, Apparently, there are burrowing owls nested somewhere near the property. Haven't seen any sign of their burrows on the property, but I haven't walked the whole property yet.
Wonderful.
And then all of the little, Mama Thing wouldn't be at home if we didn't have chipmunks and black squirrels.
Chippies are so dumb. They are so dumb. They get stuck in my gutters in here.
But they
Ding, ding,
love
ding, ding,
those
ding, ding,
things.
ding. And then I have to go out. I have to smack in the gutter with a broom, shake them loose. They roll out, look at me, go, ah, and they run. And then they come back. It's like, really? I gave them corn today because
We were camping on Cypress in 2016.
Mhm.
And it's one of the easier ascent 14ers.
Okay.
She was new to high elevations. So easier ascent 14ers is always best.
Sure.
She was getting up every morning, as she does, to do her morning prayers and her morning rituals. And after about the third day camping on the mountain, she always had a little visitor for morning prayer. But chipmunks, they started coming and sitting and chittering at her while she did her prayer.
Oh, is that sweet?
And then it moved from chipmunks to ravens.
Mm.
Yeah, we've had some murderous ravens congregate. We broke camp one morning and spent an additional hour and 45 minutes with Mama Sings talking to a murder of ravens that had decided to alight in the tree over the tent.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, I already had the tent down and packed because they were pooping all over everywhere.
Oh, it's like a whitewashed car. Every time I fill the bird feeder, I say, please don't poop on the Jeep. Where do they poop? The Jeep.
Jeep.
They wait. They hold it. They go, no, I'm keeping my knees together until I really have to go. And then, yeah, it's ugly. Right on my sunroof. It's like, take the joy out of my day. Why don't you? No, I refuse. I'll get out there with my squeegee, clean it up, be a big kid, persevere. Nothing beats perseverance. Nothing. And so in this Venus-Mars cycle, hot and cold, one very important thing, and I'm sure Sings will agree with me. Mercury moon in Gemini is a cycle where Venus-Mars makes it hard to maintain a relationship, but it's so much fun to flirt. I love flirting. They have college courses in flirting. How sad is that? How sad to have to take a class to learn how to flirt. I've carried 3 by 5 cards.
No. One of the funniest courses I ever encountered, and I didn't take it because at the time I was married and the wife would have killed me.
Mm-hmm.
The little Marine Corps correspondence courses, Army correspondence courses that they make you take as you're coming up through the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Marine Corps correspondence courses was actually Romance 101.
Oh, my Lord.
How to find a girlfriend.
What to do when the Dear John letter comes in? What do you do if the rabbit dies? Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. There's so many. When you think of the mandatory courses you take in school, in high school, and in college, and they just don't cover the situations they don't teach you how to bury a parent.
They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah, they don't teach you how to pay your bills. They don't teach you how to make a budget unless you're an economist. They don't teach you how to live. And that's really what we should be learning. We should be challenging our children to become more effective at how they live, to enjoy their. Okay, Matthew Lesko says, easiest 1,000 personal grant on the internet. Do check out Matthew Lesko, Mathew, capital Lesko. Sometimes it takes a while to get through because, everybody wants the money. On the other hand, he will show you grants, which means you don't have to pay it back. And in these unprecedented times, a little money wouldn't be a bad thing. Although we're supposed to have another stimmy coming in July, from what I understand. It's July.
That's for parents with kids.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Hopefully, it's going to benefit JC and
Mm-hmm.
Lori.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a pretty good crowd. I think Heather is still here. We have a Dana Van Rout. Hope I'm not mispronouncing that.
You're forgiven.
We have Maria Riaster
Mm-hmm.
and Shauna Marie Kagan.
Oh, Shauna. Hi, honey. She's in Florida.
Along with Swampy and Sweetie and JC.
And you and I.
And you and I. It's a good crowd.
And we highly
They're all being
recommend.
quiet, though. Speak up, everybody.
They can if they want to. We can live with it. It's not like I'm feeling rejected and abandoned. You know, I'm tired of being nice. Don't get me wrong. I'll still be polite and say please and thank you and excuse me and help people that need my help. That's everyday behavior. However, when I see corporate greed carving into sacred land and desecrating burial grounds, I won't be nice about it. When I can document that energy transfer partners, remember that name, build pipelines that we leak on a weekly basis, I get uppity. When I discover that the fair state of Michigan sent bottled water to its employees while it was poisoning the citizens of Flint, I get livid. How is it that I reported on the Flint brown water crisis for over a year before mass media found it newsworthy, and now they don't even talk about it? It's still not resolved. When I see bulldozers flattening butterfly sanctuaries, my resting B-word face stops resting. We are the stewards of Mother Earth. Corporate greed and political corruption have to stop now. We drink the same water as our grandfathers, and we leave that precious element for our children, their children, and our children's children's children. How can we look them in the eyes if we refuse to take a stand for what we know is right? There's no time to waste. Our delicate ecosystem needs our attention immediately, if not sooner. From the smallest issues to the largest, we can each make a contribution. Any day, you can go to my Facebook page, L. Newman or Mother Peace Drum, and see what areas need your attention. What groups could use your support? We must stand arm in arm with the water protectors from Standing Rock and fight to keep our land as pure as is possible. Honor demands we do whatever we can to get educated and make a powerful change in our communities. Enough is truly enough. We can't be nice when Mother Earth pays the price. In the words of our beloved brother Superman, respect existence or expect resistance. I hope. So dare.
There's another part of that.
Yeah?
Coexistence or
Yeah.
coexistence.
Peaceful coexistence. That's one of my regular prayers that, I mean, I know I did get a little.
If we don't find some form of peaceful coexistence, we're going to find
We're done.
Some not quite so peaceful coexistence.
We're done. We're done. We'll be scorched earth. There's no future in that. Before we run out of time and I forget, I know we don't have our music up yet, but we will in due time. Everything happens in its own good time. And in a Venus, Mars, we set the bar comfortably low. It's like a footrest. When the music is back up, you will hear the music of Maruga Booker and John Churchville. They play the tablas for us. Of course, my brother Superman, I'm so proud of him. He best drop that other CD because I want to get one for me, one for you, and one just to have. Glenn Michael.
Have one for the ride. Got to have one for the ride.
Yeah, we do. Glenn Michael Topping, who is a drummer, a drum maker, a healer, a teacher, a singer, a musician from South Africa. We loves him. And John Red Deer Cruz, who plays the flute music, which for me is trance music. So I don't do a lot of flute music stuff. I'm a trance drummer. It's hard enough to get me back from that. Don't forget every Wednesday night from 9:45 till 10 o'clock. You're cordially invited to a Mesa link up with men and women healers from all around the world as we send up a beacon of power and peace and light for all who need that energy. And coming up in August, the folks against the DAPL, thank you, people, will be having a worldwide drum as well. I'll give you more information. You can find that on my Facebook page. I'm missing something, but that's okay. It'll keep. What's up? You're reading something intently.
I'm just checking. Swampy laughed.
We loves our Swampus. I want Swampland Radio. He always played Frank Zappa for me.
We're trying to get Swampland Radio back up and running.
Yes, indeed. Make it worth buying that Sam Pro. What the heck? What the
We
heck?
got it. We might as well use it.
Well, and the cool thing is, it never even occurred to me to do it before everything turned caca.
Yeah. Well,
And once it did, I didn't have a moment's hesitation, did I?
got to get Brother Earl up and on his feet. He's gonna help us get all the radio stations up and running.
Sweet darling.
Look, if you guys out there in the listening world want to help somebody, check out Iowa Pagan Radio or Prairieland Pagan or Prairieland Home Radio, either or. Earl is a really good guy, and he's down on his luck right now. He got the vaccine like everybody told him to go and do, and within 12 hours of getting the initial shot, he contracted Guillain-Barré syndrome. He has been he was in the hospital for 49 days straight.
Good Lord.
He got was out of the hospital for 6 days and contracted cellulitis in his left leg.
Oh, my Lord. Poor baby.
I had to go back to the hospital to get rounds after round of antibiotics intravenously and irrigation of his leg and, cleaning the wound tract and all that fun stuff. We started a GoFundMe for his ramp that he has to have so he can get in and out of his house now with the Guillain-Barrés. And it's going around. Find it on my Facebook page and share it if you can do nothing else.
And well, you can do a lot else. If we get 10 people to pray for his wellness and his healing, that gives him 100 times the energy. It's squares. That's why when we were talking about stress, if you're stressed, you go out in the world and you stress 5 people, you just stress 25 people. And they've stressed 125 people. And it goes and goes and goes and goes. So by mitigating, our stress is always going to be there. Sometimes it's that hitch in your get along when you're lifting too many weights. Sometimes it's just getting your underwear on the right foot, not wearing your pants inside out. But it's about not allowing the stress to overtake you, because it's a golem. It's a 1,000-pound dust bunny that will squish you if you let it. So why let it? I love watching the Rotten Housewives of wherever. Pick one. There's so many now, and they're all interchangeable, with the exception of the Housewives of the Potomac, who pretend to be very special society ladies and then turn ghetto immediately. Girl, I'm gonna take off my earrings. I'm gonna kick your But I love watching the Miserable Housewives because, one, they're all independently wealthy, and most people think if you're really that rich, you have no problems at all. Ha! 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 My richest client is named Rachel Lambert Mellon. She is of the Carnegie Mellon Foundation, who helped support PBS. She also owns Glaxo Wellcome, which creates Zantac, the new Zantac, not the one that killed people.
Yeah, she's
filthy rich.
Family's facing lawsuits that are going to make them
rich. Well, she's got her own money. Filthy rich. Yeah. Okay. She moved to Antigua, and she decided she had like a half-a-mile driveway, and she decided she wanted Michigan pines. Hello. Michigan pines don't live in Antigua because they want them some winter, They won't have time where they can just go, oh, it's so nice and refreshing. I love it. No. So they all kind of died on her. But the sadder part was that her daughter, Sarah, would not speak to her. And in order to get Sarah to speak to her or her to speak to Sarah, I got to carry their messages back and forth. I would read the chart and say, this is where she's open to communication. This is where you're open to communication. Let's make it happen. And last seen, after about 10 years of working with them, they still weren't talking. And it's like, she wanted to fly me down there. No, thank you. She wanted to fly me to Sarah's place in Connecticut. No, thank you. If I'm not helping you, I'm certainly not going to take your money, and you're not going to take my time. But here she is, filthy rich. I mean, rich. So, yeah, she'll take a hit from the old Zantac. But, Zantac's back on the market. Explain that to me.
Yeah. They have, if you look at the new Zantac, they have completely changed the formulary in it.
Oh, they had to, yeah.
and it now has a safety warning on the box.
I took it for 25 years. It never did a darn thing to me, except it made my ulcer not hurt. So I cannot complain.
Mom is actually part of that class action.
Now, people are dying, just dying.
She had a really bad colonoscopy because of Zantac.
Ooh.
Yeah, like 11 surgeries to repair damage.
Oof.
But yeah, just goes to what I was saying earlier. Pharmaceuticals just don't. If you're not on them now, don't start them.
True. Bach flower rescue remedy. The
Yeah.
greatest healing drops on the planet.
I say that and it thunders.
Oh yeah. We had that just a little while ago. And everything's all green and pretty. I hope it rains some more though, because it needs to cool off. I never complain about the heat in the summer because I despise winter so much. So it's like it could be snowing.
The side effects for my chosen form of medication. The munchies. Occasional cotton mouth. Potentially dry eyes. If I use too much, I might get paranoid or go to sleep or find myself giggling happily on the couch watching something moronic.
See, I'm of a mind that if anything's going to make me fat, lazy, and sleeping, I'll stay away from it. You know, because I could do that. That's a choice I could make on my own.
But see,
cheesy poofs, bring that
that's
cheesy
only poofs. If I use too much. Okay, I have learned over the years that I have used my particular form of medication, how much is enough, how much is a little bit too much, and how much is way I'm going to be planted.
How much is you got to be kidding me? Really, those edibles, let me tell you. And I have a whole bag of.
I was looking at a post on Facebook today, and I saw one of those. You got to be kidding me! They had rolled a smokable device that was bigger around than the
okay, that's obscene
can that your Pringles come in.
Obscene.
And longer than my body.
Yeah. Cheech and Chong call that great Wawa. It's just no.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Even if you have 100 people, it's too much. But in moderation, as with all things. Yeah, it changes who I am. It does. I can be around idiots under the influence. Whereas under the influence of alcohol or all the pharmaceuticals I was taking before, I just couldn't tolerate idiots at all. Got in trouble over some idiots a couple of times.
I don't get in trouble, but I encourage them to be idiots because I know they're going to go off on the wrong person.
I got a road rage ticket under the influence of pharmaceuticals. Yeah, I turned a 3/4 ton work van around on a dime to chase an asshat down the highway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stephen
He
King
cut me off 3 times and then made an illegal U-turn across the median to get away from me because he had already pissed me off.
You showed him.
He got a careless and reckless ticket.
Yeah.
He got a crossing the median illegally ticket and something else, and I got a road rage ticket. The road rage ticket cost me $2,500.
Ooh, that's a bite.
7 points. Driving school. Anger management.
Oh, good.
Stress management. Another round of pharmaceuticals from my doctor because he decided the ones that he had me on weren't working. Yeah. So
everything works when you let it.
I was special.
Well, now I'm so special that I've been in 2 accidents, didn't cause them. Well, 3, didn't cause them. But I was driving home from Courtney's house one day on Lincoln, and I was going 0.5 miles over the speed limit. That's not even an issue. But pulled into a gas station. Back in the day, it was a service station. You remember those, don't you? Wash your windshield, pump your gas, and knock at the window. So I got my plastic and my credit card, roll down the window, and there's this cute little apple-cheeked cop. Ma'am, sir, what seems to be the problem, officer? Isn't that what you say? What seems to be the problem, officer? Well, ma'am, I clocked you a half a mile down Lincoln, and you were driving 0.5 miles over the speed limit. And I looked at him, and this is where I got the ticket. I looked at him and I, oh, holy shit, how will I live down the shame of it? Don't tell the neighbors. He whipped that pencil out of some orifice, handed me a ticket, went on his way. Had another one. I wasn't even speeding, but the cop, I don't know, he had to make bagel money or something. And he took my license, pulled me over, took my license. I was driving to the office, got in his car, came back, handed me my license. He goes, you have a spotless driving record. I said, yes. And he goes, but I clocked you at 25 miles over the speed limit. No, because I wouldn't do that. Well, for $300, I can make it go away. Well, fine. Thank you, Mr. Royal Oak police officer. Will you take a check? Yes. Greed. Greed is an ugly bugger, isn't it?
I had a deputy go to jail over me. Because the deputy decided to overstep his bounds with me. And I just happened to still be on the phone with my boss. I was getting ready to be redeployed. And I had an international carry card in my pocket. I didn't have a sidearm with me, just an international carry card. And the deputy decided that it must be fake because he'd never heard of them, had never seen them before.
Brilliant.
So on the side of the highway, he decided to rip said card into little bitty pieces and stuff them into his pocket. While I was on the phone with the person that signed the daggum thing to begin with.
Timing.
He said, give me just a moment. The guy I was on the phone with. I said, yes, sir. He was gone for about 30 seconds. And about 2 minutes later, the watch commander for that county and the sheriff for that county and the sergeant at arms for that county all pulled up behind the deputy in question. And the deputy in question said, I didn't request any backup. And the sheriff answered, no, sir. But the chairman secretary for the Department of Homeland Defense did. You were in violation of Article blah, 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 of U.S. Federal Code, blah, 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 blah. And I am here to inform you that you are being placed under arrest and incarcerated for destruction of government property.
Beautiful.
They gave him 25 years.
Good God.
Well, in digging through his personal effects, they found some stuff that led to some
Other stuff
and some arrest of some pretty seedy types in said county. So he didn't just get charged with destruction of federal property. He got charged with distribution of illegal pornography.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
The kind of illegal pornography that
I get it.
About it, he would have been planted, not
Yeah.
But yeah, people overstep their bounds because they've already gotten away with overstepping their bounds. They add stressors to the situation because it's what gives them their jollies. And they try to escalate things to make you mess up. He knew that he didn't need to do what he was doing, but he did it because he wanted to get a rise out of me. The cop that gave you the ticket or tried to give you the ticket for doing 25 over knew that you weren't doing 25 over. He was abusing his authority because he had already gotten used to abusing his authority and getting away with it.
And because this city is built on sweetheart deals. The houses aren't legal, the sales aren't legal, the businesses aren't legal, and it's a money pit.
Yeah.
the citizens paying and the corrupt, mostly politicians, making off with the money.
And that's been going on since
Sad.
before Prohibition
Oh yeah,
in that area.
power corrupts. It just does. So we don't have to be part of it. We don't have to play the game. I was going to say you don't need backup unless you get your backup, and once you get your backup, you've already picked a fight.
Yeah.
That's why. When we're supposed to be walking in the path of peace, do you want to pick a fight with people? I mean, that idiot that gave me grief about my yard, I hit a moment, and it was like, okay, son, you're going to get the full Bernice, because I do not suffer fools. And you are stopping me from getting things done that you're telling me I should be doing. Did you work
Right.
for the government? I think you did. So, yeah. I told him I can get better, but you're still going to be an asshole. A flaming asshole. An ignorant, arrogant, stupid asshole. Now, run back to mama. Your mac and cheese is ready.
Swampy said too much money for licensing for the radio station. So what I figure is since Earl and Swampy are both encountering the same situation, maybe we need one license that we can umbrella everything under.
Yeah. Doable.
Yeah.
Doable.
Things happen because things need to happen. And
Well, and it's for the greater good. This isn't about you and I and Swamp and anybody being
It's
all
about-
self-aggrandizing. It's about helping people.
it's about building the community and spreading.
Exactly.
It's about pulling people into the community that got disenfranchised years ago.
Mhm.
Uh,
Or always were.
Yeah.
I'm proud of being the black sheep. I am proud of it. I wouldn't want to be like the rest of the gang.
you heard
Well,
my
thank you.
Mr. Friday.
Mhm.
I chose.
Yeah.
And I chose for a reason.
Mhm.
Somebody had to do it. And if I didn't do it, the next people available in my family to do it, it would have taken a generation. And we didn't have that time.
And what you did was you have broken a never-ending chain of abuse.
Yeah. And
That's the most important
opened an unending can of worms.
Huh.
And it's been great.
Worms are healthy.
I stay on the edge of my seat 24/7.
That's fine.
I have fun. I create stuff. I drop my chaos in people's laps and let them figure out how to change the way they are.
Creative chaos.
Yeah.
So the question to ask yourself is, what's fun? What do you do that you enjoy so much? It's like when I drum and they pay me, when I do a studio job, I always forget because I'm having so much fun drumming. And then they hand me money, cash money. Wow.
And
What a
I'm going
world.
to start a fishing service. I'm going to go stand in the middle of a river
Mm-hmm.
and let people be entertained by me talking to the fish.
There you go.
I don't know.
Unless they're carp. Carp do not listen. You got your mud puppy, he might, but carp are stupid. They eat styrofoam cups. I've seen it. I've fed them. Carp don't.
I went fishing without a fishing pole and came home with 6 fish.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take a net either.
Talked him into the cooler.
I was wading in the creek, and the first one swam into my hand. I'm like,
Like a bear. Kind of like a hungry bear. All right.
Okay, that one swam into my hand. Let's try this again.
Bear medicine. Bear medicine is a perfect antidote to this passive aggressive. I hate passive aggressive people. To this passive aggressive, hot and cold cha-cha cycle that we're in for 6 more weeks. Bear medicine says these are the basics. This is the right pile. This is the wrong pile. You do the things in the wrong pile, it's going to cost you dearly. Do the things in the right pile, and the good grows exponentially. Now, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? Do the good thing for the good reason, and God herself will reward you. Damn, Skippy.
Because
There's a
I'm
prayer.
Martin Gray, if the bad is worth it, you can counter the bad with enough good.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Because
you're right.
sometimes you got to do the bad. You got to break the egg to make the omelet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
sometimes to make that change that people need to make, they have to have that tough love.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to make the change that people have to make to survive what's coming, you have to get in their face.
You have to show them what their power really is,
Yeah.
so they don't surrender to their
Look,
fears.
if you need help, study the Aoka mirror. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Learning how to reflect back honestly what people are putting out hurts,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an effective tool.
Exactly.
They have to understand at a visceral level what their actions actually are causing. And sometimes it takes the true Heyoka, the mirror like myself, to
Mm-hmm.
show them what they're doing. I can
Cause and
get
effect. It's cause and effect.
I can get blisteringly sick for somebody in a heartbeat.
Saturn always wears reflector sunglasses. Of course, he's a DI. He's a Marine, don't you know?
Right.
He doesn't take no for an answer, but he always wears reflector sunglasses because he wants you to look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, here's a challenge. Watch how well you're handling it. Here's a potentially stressful cycle. Watch how well you're not going to let it get to you. How simple is that?
If it takes the mirror to tell you you're in a test, wake up.
Pinch yourself
Yeah.
a
If
couple times
if it takes the Heyoka getting in your face for you to figure it out, check yourself.
before you wreck yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the wreck's on the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because
It's a train wreck.
when the Heyoka steps up and starts becoming the mirror, just so you get the picture, you're really close.
Mm-hmm.
And they care a lot.
Yeah.
I know some Heyoka that don't care enough. Well, actually, they care as much as I do, but they won't subject themselves to the horrors that I have.
Well, then they're not true. They're not being completely true to their nature because they're supposed to be here to challenge the norm, the beliefs.
It takes those moments to get.
Mhm.
I mean, Sings will get there, get down in there with the nitty gritty, and be just as ugly as I am with the reflecting mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of
But it's their ugly. It's not her ugly. It's their ugly.
It's their ugly, and I expect that out of her because she expects that out of me.
Sure.
And heaven help me if the mirror that she's reflecting is me, because I really messed up at that point. But other
that's part
they
of
have,
being human.
yeah, they have to find that whatever it is that reaches down inside of you and grabs hold of the most intense parts and says, "This hurts."
Yeah.
It takes that to make the Heyoka stand up and be the Heyoka.
And why are you putting yourself in a perpetual place of pain when life is a dance? It's meant to be. You find your heart song, you make it clear, you never have to hurt again unless you step on a Lego. You know, it's about a choice-centered universe. Venus and Mars will continue to disposit each other at the same time. They're opposing Saturn. And as you'll read tomorrow in my forecast at the astralbaglady.net, for everybody, it's taken us to a place of, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And how's it going to reward me? And if I'm just doing this thing that belonged to somebody else, my beloved, my family member, or coworker, because it needs to get done, that's stupid. And it's time to truly, honestly look at, what are you living in service of? It's poor English, but it's real. If you're living in service of peace and healing and compassion, this is a very good thing. If you're living in a place of pain and fear and insecurities, you're just going to multiply that, chew it back up, and swallow it again. Why make that choice? Why? In the words of Nancy Kerrigan, why me? You want to tell these people how to find you? Because we need to do that.
www.spiritwalksparcreations.com, or you can find us at www.fouroflightcon.com.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to my consulting team at Four of Light Con for all your spiritual services.
Sweet.
And for those special moments, those special jewelry needs, Spirit Walks Far Creation sits down with you one-on-one to build your spiritual jewelry.
One of a kind, unique artifacts. You're not going to see them in retarded. It's not going to happen. You'd be lucky to see them online. And even more blessed to be able to wear them. Like I said, I have a buffalo horn choker, and I only wear it for special drum circles. That's it. I would not presume to wear them any other time.
I put mine on, and people look at me and they go, "Okay, teacher, what's up next?"
Mm-hmm.
Because they expect me to start teaching when I strap it on.
Surprise!
Sometimes I just put it on because I need to feel grounded.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing. When you're grounded, you're not going to overreact to anything. I think, and we're just about, we're out of time. Gosh darn it. Okay. When you speak, kindly, please speak of peace. When you think, kindly, please visualize peace. When you believe in peace as much as I do, and together we can make it happen. We'll be back in another 168 hours. Don't forget, we're a million places on the internet, including YouTube and Anchor FM. Please check out our podcast, tell your little friends, and have a perfect week, everybody.
Blessings, everyone.
Peace out.